All right, what's up? Good morning, PT on Ice Daily Show. Dr. Jeff Moore here, currently serving as the CEO of ICE, lead faculty for lumbar spine and cervical spine management courses. Coming at you live from Omaha, Nebraska today. We'll be heading to Baton Rouge tomorrow, apparently into a hurricane. So we'll see how that goes. That storm seems to be building up a little bit, so that'll be interesting. If need be, we will fly to a neighboring airport and drive. One way or the other, rain or shine, we will be there. The show will go on. So looking forward this weekend down with Delta Physical Therapy in Baton Rouge. So Steve, looking forward to it, man. Got a sold-out crew down there. Should be a blast. Jessica Turner coming in, actually from Omaha to help me out. So that'll be a good time. Hey, what's up, Kelsey? What's up, Steve? Just talking about you, man. Good to see everybody. Good to have everyone on the channel. All right, so today I want to talk a little bit about the 3-year plan, because this comes up over and over again, kind of in my world, and I think there's a lot of value here. So the 3-year plan, when people come at me with questions of, should I do fellowship? Should I take the OCS? Should I do the ICE certification? Should I take that clinical director position? Like, to me, all of those boil down to, well, what's your 3-year plan? Right? Like, have you carved that out? Like, what exactly do you want your life to look like? Like, from the moment that you wake up until the moment you go to bed, how would that best be designed to maximize your skill set, your capacity, and your passions? Like how does that look? And let me know how that looks, and then we'll design from there, right? The problem is that a lot of folks don't have that carved out, which is tough because, again, to me, that 3-year plan is kind of like your navigational buoys. Like, every opportunity that comes up, you sort of reflect it against, does this opportunity put me in a position where my maximal thriving can be expressed? And it's not only important for you individually, but for your families, right? Like your partner, your spouse, your crew, like having a really well carved out 3-year plan significantly reduces the anxiety of those moments when big decisions come up, because as opposed to making them kind of off the cuff, you can sit back together and bounce and say, well, does this correlate and does this do well for our 3-year plan that we've already talked about? Like, would this put us in a position that maximizes the benefits that we've already decided about as a group? So I think having that really well carved out is critical to all of your decision making, and it takes so much of the stress off. However, I find that in most cases, when I bring that up, people say, yeah, well, I kind of like doing this and I kind of like doing that, but it really is not a solid, here is where I do extraordinarily well. If my life looked like this, I would be maximally effective and maximally happy. And I think the reason is, as I bumped into that barrier kind of over and over, I think the reason is that people have not really well carved out where they thrive. Because I think we don't take the intentional reflection to do so. And that's really going to be my challenge today, because that's what it takes. There's no way that you can really visualize how things could look best in 3 years if you have not done a very good deal of intentional reflection in the moment in your daily life and then projected that forward. So that's my action item for everybody, is to take inventory of your high energy moments, right? What I've always called like a vibe pause. When you find yourself during the day feeling really, really good, like really energized, really focused, really dialed in, you got to do a vibe pause, right? And it's like, all right, why? Why do I feel this way? What did I just do? Like, what put me in this state of mind where I've got all this energy and I've got all this focus and I am being my best self in this moment? What put me here? So having that reflection in real time, what did you just do? Did you just teach somebody, right? Did you have existing knowledge and you transfer that over to somebody else? Alternatively, did you just listen to somebody? Did you create a space that was really, really therapeutic for another individual to be able to get something off their chest that you absorbed that was really beneficial for them? Did you just evaluate somebody? Was there an unknown and you differentially diagnosed the problem? Was it discovery driven? Alternatively, was the problem already known and you designed and executed a program? Were you the architect, right? So you already knew what the problem was, but you designed a program to actually solve it. Did you do deep work? Was there something that was overly complex that you were able to simplify? Did you create a template for the evals for your entire clinic to dramatically simplify a complex process? Did you lead a clinic meeting where your energy was getting pulled in a million different directions, right? And you came out of that and you felt just jacked up, right? Those are all very different demands on your psyche, on your body, on your mentality. And which of those leaves you feeling jacked up and energized? Alternatively, taking inventory of your low energy moments in real time. Right? When are you feeling particularly drained? Same questions as above, right? Which moments are you coming out of where you're just feeling wiped, right? Now, what's really important here is that every time you're feeling drained, you're not judging yourself for being tired, right? You're not mad at yourself for being tired. Instead, you're studying, why am I tired, right? And you're beginning to design a life that moves you away from those circumstances, right? It's better life by design. Now, the reason this is so important is because as you're thinking about what fills your cup and what drains that cup, you really need to be specific. Because as we're thinking about where to go with your career, where you want to be in 2 to 3 years, right? Things like, I want to be a teacher, don't cut the mustard. You have to drill down further than that into these specificities I'm talking about, because being a teacher is dramatically different depending on how you wind up being a teacher. Right? My life as a Con Ed faculty is dramatically different than somebody who is on site in a traditional 3-year DPT program, right? Teaching in one town their entire life. Like, the majority of my life really revolves around how well I can tolerate travel, how efficient I can be on the road, like how well I can run my life with very little stability. And can I thrive off of that, or is that going to drain me? So the point is that being a certain thing very rarely gives you enough information. You want to know, what exact components am I going to be doing on a daily basis when I do those things? And is that going to fill me up, or is that going to drain me? The only way you can know that is if you've taken this intentional inventory and these vibe pauses. And that way, when these opportunities come up, you can not only say, okay, what would my primary role be? But you could drill down a lot further and say, in that given team, with what your current needs are, what would I be doing on a daily basis? Because I know that teaching in a flipped classroom 2-year DPT program, where I'm doing a lot of it online and leveraging a lot of tech capacity, is going to be a lot different than if I'm on site somewhere teaching the same thing on a daily basis in person. So again, the only way that you can look at that projected opportunity and look at how well you're going to thrive in it is whether or not you've taken this inventory on very specific environments and demands that either increase or decrease your energy level. So I would really challenge everybody over the next, few weeks to, during the clinic, during the day, in real time, can you tease out what those environments are that maximize your capacity? Now, I will give one caveat before I log off, because, first of all, it's a pretty big ask, so I'm not going to put any more on you this morning. But I will give a big caveat in saying that physical work capacity is a really important prerequisite to any of this working, right? Because those who have not gotten it in good enough physical shape will almost always choose what's easy, right? Versus what's actually purposeful and honestly fills their energy capacity. Because if you're exhausted during the day, you're always going to choose what overall is easier on your body and mind versus what is actually deeply meaningful. So a lack of physical work capacity can really get in your way to teasing out mentally what really fills your cup and what drains it. So it's really important to think about that, because it's such a precursor to any of this other discovery actually working. I think about, like, with yoga, right? My wife's a yoga instructor, so I'm always kind of learning from her in that side of the world. But you think about how back in the day, like, yoga postures, the actual asanas, weren't about the actual postures themselves. They were about getting your body physically fit enough, comfortable enough, that when you meditated, your body didn't get in the way of your mind. Right? You weren't achy and having to move positions, so you couldn't think and get to a deeper level of mental capacity. Very similar here. If your physical capacity is always getting in the way and you're always feeling tired, you're going to have a really hard time figuring out where you truly fit versus simply what is easier. So being able to take this inventory, I think, does require a baseline of physical fitness. So as we think about capacity and future design, it's important to think about that. So I just want to throw that out there, because I don't think many folks drill down this deep. And I would love to hear from you all as you're doing it on how that process goes for you. Because once you know, like, gosh, when I'm in these certain scenarios, I seem to be just operating at a much higher level. Every opportunity and every decision is going to get easier because you're going to be able to say, well, if I achieve that, I can move into this position. What are the specifics of that? And does that maximize my potential? And thus, does it fit that 3-year plan? Think about that a little bit. I know it's drilling down deep, but hit me up with some feedback. I'd love to hear about it. I think this is where it gets real as far as designing your best life. So for those of you who are going to be in Baton Rouge tomorrow or Saturday, I'll see you in the morning. Otherwise, I'll catch you all next Thursday. Cheers.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to the PT on Ice Daily Show. If you enjoyed this content, head on over to iTunes and leave us a review. And be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram at the Institute of Clinical Excellence. If you're interested in getting plugged into more ICE content on a weekly basis while earning CEUs from home, check out our virtual ICE online mentorship program at ptonice.com. While you're there, sign up for our Hump Day Hustling newsletter for a free email every Wednesday morning with our top 5 research articles and social media posts that we think are worth reading. Head over to ptonice.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to sign up.